Today we're going to continue our discussion on linear functions, or nonlinear functions, specifically quadratics. We're going to look on how we can change the steepness and how we can reflect a graph, a quadratic. Before we get started, go ahead and check your memory on the parent functions. Pause the video, graph the three, and see how you do. All right, here they are. Linear has a y-intercept of 0, 0, and a rate of change of up 1 over 1. Absolute value has a vertex at 0, 0, and a rate of change of 1 over 1. Quadratics don't have a constant rate of change. They have a different pattern. So there's two options. First off, remember that the vertex is at 0, 0. And then you could have made a table. This is what we did last class. Okay, we just made a table and plotted the points. Or we remembered the pattern. The pattern was up 1, come over here, up 1, up 3, up 5, up 1, up 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? What if I have y equals 2x squared? Well, that 2 is multiplying. When we multiply the parent function, we make the graph more steep. When we multiply by a number bigger than 1, we make it more steep. If we multiply by less than 1, we make it less steep. So I've got two options. I can make another table again. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. If I plug this into my calculator, I'm going to plug it in just like this. I've got y equals 2x squared. So I'm going to do y equals 2 negative 2 squared. If I type that into my calculator, I get 8. And then I'm going to try -1 squared. Remember, you have to put negative numbers in parentheses. Okay, and I get 2. And I would keep on doing that pattern. I get 0, and I get 1, or 2, and then 8. Remember, there is no vertical shift here because I'm not adding anything. There's no horizontal shift because I'm not adding anything in the inside. So the vertex remains at 0, 0. And then my points were at -2, 8, -1, 2, 1, 2, and 2, 8. And then you can graph it. And you can see that this graph is steeper than the parent function, which is in blue. So you get that quadratic. The other thing I want to point out is you can do the shortcut on this. We know that the pattern is up 1, up 3, up 5 for a quadratic. But if my steepness is being multiplied by 2, then my pattern becomes 2, 6, and 10. So I go start at the vertex, I go up 2, then up 6. 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then up 10. The next one, this is being multiplied by 0.5, which is less than 1. So therefore it's going to be less steep than the parent function. I can make my table again if I want. Okay, and you should, if you're not sure how to. Okay, if I plug in -2, just like I did before, so I'm going to get y equals 0.5 times -2 squared. Or that is 2. And if I do a -1, I'm going to get 0.5, 0, 0, and then 0.5, 2. So again, there's no horizontal or vertical shift, so I know my vertex is here. And then I'm at -2, 2, -1, 1/2, 1, 1/2, and 2, 2. There's not enough points there, so we're going to go ahead and plug in a few more. So let's plug in 3. If I plug in 3, I get 4.5. So I can go 3, 4.5 on that side. And so now you can see that this graph is a little bit fatter or wider or less steep than the parent function. We can use our rule though. We know the steepness pattern for a parent is 1, 3, 5, up 1, up 3, up 5. If I'm multiplying by a half, that means I have to multiply these by a half. So that'd be 0.5, 1.5, and 2.5. A little bit tricky, but I can go up a half, and I can go up 1.5, and then I can go up 2.5. And do that on both sides. What happens when we multiply by a negative? It's the same in every function we've talked about, and it will remain the same for every function we talk about. It is a reflection, which means the new graph is upside down. We're going to make, I should know by now my pattern is 1, 3, 5. But if I'm multiplying by a negative 1, I'm going to go down 1, down 3, down 5. There's no horizontal shift, so I'm at 0, 0. I go down 1, down 3, and then down 5. But I got to form the other side. Down 1, down 3, down 5. Nope, I missed that one. Down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And we can graph. So you can see that it's upside down. You can see the U-shaped. It's quadratic. If you want to make a table, you're more than welcome to. The way I would do this, if I'm making a table, is when I plug it in, I would do y equals, this is like a -1 times x. So I would do -1 x squared. So -1 times -2 squared. And -1 times -1 squared. That's how I would do it. -4, -1, and then you can plot them, so forth. Now if I want to put it all together, because this is ultimately what you have to be able to do, we have to look at this graph and know everything that changed. So the first thing I notice is that there's a negative sign. I'm multiplying by a negative. That means that I am reflecting, which means it's going to go down. Okay? I'm multiplying by a 1/2. That means it is less steep than the parent function. Okay? I'm adding 5 on the inside. Adding 5 on the inside means that I shift left 5. And I'm adding out on the outside, adding 8 on the outside. That means I shift up 8. You need to be able to recognize all those things. So where's my vertex? If I shift left 5 and up 8, left 5 and up 8. That puts my vertex at the point -5, 8. Now to fill in the rest of the table, it's not too bad. I'm going to put -5 in the middle of the table. And then I can do -6, -7, I can do -8, -8, -7, -6, -5, 4, -3, -2. And I can make a table. Okay, and I can just plug in all those numbers. It's not too hard. Okay, just take us a little bit of work is all. So I'll go ahead and do that quickly. I'll pause the video. While you make your table, you pause the video as well. Alright, so if I want to plug in -8, I just have to type all this into my calculator. -1/2, parentheses, -8 plus 5, parentheses squared, plus 8. When you plug in each of these numbers, you get 3.5, 6, 7.5, 8, 7.5, 6, and 3.5. So graphing them, I got -8, 3.5, -7, 6, negative 6, 7.5. And it's going to be the same thing on the other side. Okay. There's your new quadratic. Again, if I want to look at the pattern, I know the pattern is 1, up 3, up 5. What would be the next number? It would be up 7, and then up 9. Okay. But if I'm multiplying by a negative 1/2, that means I need to multiply all these guys by a negative 1/2. That means I'm going to go down 1/2, down 1.5, down 2.5, down 3.5. So let's take a look there. So I've got, come over here, I went down 1/2, then I went down 1.5, I went down 2.5, and if I did it again, I could go down 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5 right there. Okay? So that would be how you can graph. And you can keep on making more points if you want. We know the next number would be 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So that means I would be going down 4.5. If you wanted to find the next point, you could just keep on going. So just as a review for quadratics, this is the parent function. What can we do to the parent function? We can multiply the parent function by something. We can add or subtract something on the inside of the parent function, or we can add or subtract a number on the outside. The A, if negative, means what? It means it's been reflected. If A is bigger than 1, it's steeper. Obviously, if it's less than 1, it's going to be less steep. Less than 1 is less steep. And then we've talked about this over and over and over again. You do have to memorize these. If the number on the inside is positive, that means we go to the left. If the number on the inside is negative, we go to the right. And if we add a number on the outside, if we add a number on the outside, if it's positive, we go up. If the number on the outside is negative, we go down. Remember, we're multiplying here and adding or subtracting there. So now I got two problems that I'll have you try. Okay, use your notes. Try to figure them out. First, try to describe the transformations: up, down, left to right, steeper, all that kind of thing. Then try to graph. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay. So what if it did if we just focus on the first one? I said I'm more steep, and I'm down 8. So my vertex was down here at negative 8. If I don't make a table, if I want to use my patterns, my 1, 3, 5, 7 change, well, I'm multiplying by 3. So that means I have to go, instead of up 1, up 3, up 5, I go up 3, up 9, up 15. I just multiplied my change by 3. Up 1, 2, 3, and up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over. I just continue graphing. For the next one, I notice that this is negative, so it's reflected. It's a 2, so it's more steep. Minus 4 on the inside means right 4. Plus 3 on the outside means up 3. Got to memorize those rules. So my vertex is right 4, up 3. So I'm going to go right 4, up 3. Now I remember my steepness change is 1, 3, 5, 7. But I'm multiplying by negative 2. So it's negative 2, negative 6, negative 10, negative 14. So I'm going to go down 2 and then down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over. And I run out of room. That's it for now. We'll see you in class soon.